Beloved one, lean in and listen carefully, for what I'm about to share may be the most vital warning you've ever received. If this message has reached you, know that it is not by accident. God Himself has guided you to this moment, and what follows could change the trajectory of your spiritual walk. You've been navigating your journey with sincerity, openly revealing your gifts, struggles, and even your divine calling. Perhaps you believed that doing so was part of your mission, that transparency would bring clarity or help others, but it's time to reassess. The truth is this: your calling, your struggles, and even your spiritual gifts are not meant to be put on full display. They are sacred, and sacred things require safeguarding. Every time you unveil what God has entrusted to you, without discernment, you risk exposing yourself to spiritual opposition, delaying the blessings that are divinely ordained for you. It's not weakness to be silent, it's wisdom. The time has come to stop announcing to the world that you are chosen. This is not a suggestion, but a call to action, a command from the divine. Understand this: the spiritual gifts and insights you possess are not ordinary. They carry great power, but with that power comes the responsibility of discretion. The world we live in is noisy, filled with voices that demand you to share your light without restraint. But not everyone will understand or honor what you have to offer. When you share indiscriminately, you open the door to unnecessary harm. You expose yourself to criticism, misunderstanding, and even spiritual attacks. Worse, the treasures God has placed within you risk being mishandled or distorted. This isn't just about self-preservation. It's about honoring the sacred trust God has placed in you. Your spiritual gifts are treasures, meant to be shared at the right time with the right people and in the right way. To share them carelessly is to undervalue their divine purpose. God's voice is calling you now to guard what is sacred. Protect your energy, your wisdom, and your connection to the divine. Heed this warning not out of fear, but out of reverence for the divine plan that has been woven into your life. You are not only chosen, but you are also held to a higher standard of accountability. The timing of revelation matters. God's plan is always precise, and He will reveal when and how your gifts are meant to be shared. Until that time comes, your role is to nurture and protect what He has given you. Why is this so crucial? Because the world is often unprepared to receive the fullness of what God has revealed to you. The insights and wisdom you carry are powerful, but power wielded at the wrong moment can lead to misunderstanding or destruction. The enemy thrives on exploiting vulnerabilities, and by exposing your gifts prematurely, you give him an opening. Imagine giving priceless jewels to someone who doesn't understand their value. They might discard them, misuse them, or even use them against you. Your spiritual journey is no different. To safeguard your calling is to show respect for its sacredness and for God's perfect timing. The consequences of revealing too much may not always be immediate, but they are real. You might find yourself drained, confused, or surrounded by spiritual resistance. These are not signs of punishment. They are reminders of the importance of obedience to divine instruction. God's warning is an act of love, a protective embrace to keep you aligned with His will. Your path is not an easy one, but it is deeply significant. The gifts you carry are meant to impact the world, but their impact depends on your ability to steward them wisely. Think of your gifts as fire, capable of bringing warmth, light, and nourishment when handled with care, but equally capable of causing destruction when misused. Chosen one, rise above the noise. Root yourself in your purpose and let God's wisdom guide your steps. This is your moment to step into the fullness of your calling, not by shouting it from the rooftops, but by guarding it with reverence, humility, and courage. Your gifts have the power to heal, uplift, and inspire, but if shared prematurely or carelessly, they can also be misunderstood or misused. Every blessing bestowed upon you by God comes with a sacred duty, the responsibility to guard it wisely. Not everyone is equipped to comprehend your journey, your insights, or the divine purpose behind them. Some will seek to benefit from your light without understanding its source, while others may reject or criticize what they cannot grasp. This is why it is vital to protect the treasures God has entrusted to you. Nurture them in the quiet chambers of your soul, allowing them to grow until the appointed time to share them is revealed. Walking the path of someone called by God requires more than strength and faith. It demands wisdom, patience, and spiritual discernment. You are not called to justify yourself to everyone. Your purpose is far greater than human opinions or judgments. Trust that God has placed you on this path with intentionality. Part of your divine mission is learning when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to wait. The road ahead is steeped in profound spiritual meaning. Guard your gifts as you would guard sacred treasure. They are not for casual display, but for divine fulfillment. God's discipline, often misunderstood as anger, is not meant to harm but to guide and protect. When you reveal too much of your spiritual wisdom or share your vulnerabilities indiscriminately, you risk stepping outside the bounds of His covering. It's like a loving parent cautioning their child to avoid dangerous terrain, not out of anger, but out of deep care. When you overshare, you expose yourself to unseen forces that can harm your spirit, weaken your resolve, and cloud your vision. The spiritual realm operates under divine laws. If you open your heart too freely, without discernment, you may invite energies or influences that drain your strength and divert you from your calling. Oversharing is akin to leaving your soul unguarded, leaving you vulnerable to forces that seek to deplete the power God has placed within you. Think of your spiritual energy as a well. If you pour from it continually without replenishing it, it will eventually run dry. Similarly, when you reveal your inner treasures without discretion, you risk depleting the strength and vitality needed to fulfill your mission. This is why God calls you to protect your energy and exercise discernment about what you share and with whom. God's correction is not punitive, but restorative. His rebukes are like gentle nudges, calling you back to alignment with His will. When you begin to guard your heart and your gifts, you position yourself under His divine covering once more. Peace and clarity will follow, and you will find renewed strength for the journey ahead. Oversharing is not just an emotional risk, it is a spiritual one. Each time you expose something deeply personal or sacred without proper discernment, you allow room for others to misunderstand, exploit, or diminish what God has entrusted to you. Recognize that not everyone is ready to receive the wisdom you carry. Some will dismiss it, others will misuse it, and some will seek to exploit it for their own purposes. You must learn to discern between those God has sent to walk with you and those who may lead you astray. Your mission is not to please the world but to honor God. The insights and revelations He has given you are not for casual consumption. They are tools for the purpose He has designed for your life. Protect them with reverence, knowing that each piece of wisdom holds power and significance. Remember, guarding your gifts is not selfish. It is an act of obedience to God. It is a recognition of the sacredness of what you carry and an acknowledgement of the one who gave it to you. Trust His timing. In due season, He will reveal when and how to share what you've been entrusted with. Until then, remain steadfast, discerning, and faithful, knowing that your journey is held firmly in His hands. Safeguarding the wisdom entrusted to you is essential to ensuring it remains untouched by worldly corruption and aligned with God's divine purpose. Your insights carry a unique significance, and they must be nurtured with patience and reverence. God's timing is perfect, and when the appointed moment comes, your wisdom will shine forth in a way that brings profound impact and healing. Until that time, treat your wisdom as a precious treasure, allowing it to grow in the quiet spaces of your soul. In these sacred moments of stillness, your understanding will deepen, your faith will strengthen, and your connection with God will flourish. Trust that when the world is ready, your voice will resonate with those who need it most. The call to guard your insights is not about secrecy, but stewardship. God entrusts wisdom to His children with the expectation that it will be used for His glory, not squandered or misused. Spiritual truths are powerful and transformative, yet they are also delicate. When shared prematurely or carelessly, they risk being misunderstood, distorted, or even weaponized by those who lack the discernment to handle them wisely. Be vigilant in protecting the sacred revelations given to you. Share them only when you discern it is the right time, and with those who are prepared to honor their significance. Not everyone who seeks is ready to receive, and not all who hear will understand. Your wisdom is not for casual consumption. It is meant to illuminate hearts that are open and willing to embrace its depth. Discernment is key to fulfilling your divine calling. Rushing to share what God has revealed may feel gratifying in the moment, but it can jeopardize the greater purpose He has planned. Prematurely exposing spiritual insights can dilute their potency and attract forces that disrupt the peace God has granted you. There is a season for everything, and the process of waiting allows your wisdom to mature, ensuring its greatest impact. Consider how a seed must first take root in the darkness of the soil before it bursts into the light. Similarly, the insights you carry need time to develop in the quiet places of your heart. When the moment comes for them to emerge, they will carry the strength, clarity, and transformative power God intended. Each revelation you receive is a sacred gift, and treating it with care allows it to unfold in its fullness. Sharing too soon can rob it of its depth and rob you of the opportunity to witness its ultimate purpose. Vulnerability, too, must be handled with wisdom. While it is a gateway to connection, it is also something sacred that should not be offered carelessly. When you share your struggles or pain, ensure you do so with those who respect your journey and can provide support aligned with God's will. Vulnerability does not equate to weakness, but is instead a profound expression of trust. However, not everyone is prepared to receive your openness with integrity, and some may misuse it, knowingly or unknowingly. Protecting your vulnerabilities does not mean hiding your true self, but preserving your spiritual strength. When you choose to share, do so in ways that empower you and uplift others. Your energy and light are finite resources meant to glorify God, not to be drained by those who cannot sustain their own. Recognize the subtle presence of those who, even unintentionally, sap your energy and peace. These individuals often do not understand the spiritual cost of their demands, yet their actions can leave you spiritually depleted. Guard your light by setting boundaries that allow you to prioritize your divine mission and serve those who genuinely need your help. You are not called to pour out endlessly without replenishment. God's work through you requires balance, strength, and discernment. By protecting your insights, your energy, and your vulnerability, you align yourself with His perfect will, ensuring that when the time comes to share, you do so with grace, power, and enduring impact. Guard your inner light with unwavering vigilance, for not everyone is worthy of receiving its warmth, nor does everyone possess the wisdom to honor its radiance. In a world teeming with distractions and energy-draining influences, it is essential to discern those who uplift your spirit from those who quietly diminish it. Boundaries are not merely protective walls, they are sacred lines drawn to preserve your spiritual vitality and the mission God has entrusted to you. Your energy is not an endless reservoir, it is a divine gift meant to be stewarded wisely. Those who come into your life may not always have pure intentions. Some will seek to take from your abundance without offering anything in return, leaving you depleted and distant from your purpose. Just as you would lock your door against a thief, you must safeguard your spiritual home against those who drain your energy, whether they are friends, family, or strangers. These individuals often wear the guise of harmlessness, but their presence can slowly erode your strength, leaving you disconnected from God's calling on your life. By setting firm, loving boundaries, you reclaim your energy and ensure it is directed toward fulfilling the purpose for which it was given. Protecting your light is not an act of selfishness, but of obedience to the one who entrusted it to you. In the silence of your soul, you will discover strength. The world clamors for your attention, urging you to speak, explain, and seek validation. But God often calls His children to moments of quiet, to seasons where words are few and the heart listens intently. Silence is not a withdrawal from life, it is an invitation to tune into divine wisdom. It is in these quiet spaces that God refines your spirit, aligning your thoughts and words with His perfect will. Speaking less does not diminish your voice, it amplifies its power. Words forged in silence carry a weight that idle chatter never can. They are imbued with purpose, intention, and divine authority. When you trust God's timing, you allow Him to shape your speech so that when you do speak, your words reflect His truth and carry His light. Oversharing, however, is a trap that many fall into unknowingly. Recklessly exposing your inner journey can open the door to spiritual harm. The opinions and judgments of others can plant seeds of doubt, confusion, and distraction. You risk losing your sense of direction, pulled away from the divine path God has laid out for you. Sharing your struggles and insights with those who do not understand or respect them can isolate you and leave you spiritually vulnerable. Discretion is a shield, a divine virtue that protects your sacred journey. It is not about hiding the truth, but about revealing it in the right time and to the right audience. Just as Jesus often spoke in parables, sharing truths only with those prepared to hear them, we too must exercise discernment in our speech. Silence is not passivity, it is preparation. It is the space where clarity is nurtured and strength is renewed. When you embrace discretion, you align yourself with God's plan. You shield yourself from unnecessary spiritual struggles and distractions, creating room for growth and divine guidance. Every moment does not require words, and every revelation is not meant to be shared. There's a time to speak and a time to remain silent, and discerning between the two is a mark of spiritual maturity. In silence, you find your center. In discretion, you find your strength. And when the time comes to speak, your words will flow not from impulse, but from a heart aligned with divine wisdom. Treat your energy as the precious gift it is, protecting it with care and sharing it with purpose. In doing so, you fulfill your mission with clarity, confidence, and unwavering faith in God's perfect timing. When you choose silence, you protect your energy, your purpose, and the sacred journey God has set before you. Speak only when the moment is divinely appointed, and embrace silence when the time calls for reflection. This delicate balance keeps you rooted in your higher calling and aligned with divine wisdom. The message is clear. Honor your mission through restraint. Stop exposing sacred truths before their time, and place your trust in God's perfect timing to reveal all things as they should be. Silence is not a mark of fear or weakness. It is an act of profound faith. It demonstrates your trust in God's plan and guards the sanctity of your connection with Him. By choosing silence, you create a spiritual shield around your purpose, preserving its purity and power. This is not a call to isolation, but to empowerment. In silence, you gain strength, insight, and clarity. It is a place where reckless oversharing is replaced by intentionality, where your actions and words align with your divine mission. By withholding what is sacred until the appointed time, you allow your purpose to flourish unimpeded by outside noise or worldly distractions. Guard the gifts God has entrusted to you. Trust that His timing is flawless, and rest in the assurance that what He has planned will unfold in perfect harmony. You were chosen for greatness, and your silence becomes a key that unlocks the door to that calling. In the chaos of daily life, it is easy to lose sight of the profound power found in patience and stillness. Divine timing operates in ways far beyond our comprehension. It requires trust, especially in a world that urges haste, demands constant action, and glorifies visibility. But true transformation happens in the quiet, where divine intervention works most powerfully. In moments of stillness, the voice of God is clearest. Patience is not passive, it is an act of surrender, trusting that what must be revealed will come to light in its proper time. Silence relieves the burden of striving and allows you to rest in the peace that your purpose is unfolding exactly as it should. This sacred waiting may feel uncomfortable, but it is in the hidden, quiet places that the deepest growth occurs. Silence is like the soil where seeds are planted, hidden, nourished, and tended to in the unseen. Growth may not be immediate, but it is inevitable and full of promise. Your spiritual gifts and insights require this hidden period of nurturing. The less you yield to the impulse to share prematurely, the more they are fortified and prepared to impact the world when the right moment comes. Silence is not a withdrawal from action. It is alignment with God's plan. When you tune into the stillness of your spirit and wait for divine timing, you unlock a strength far greater than your own. Trust that God's timing is impeccable and embrace the quiet as a season of preparation and refinement. Every chosen soul carries within them a mission of eternal significance, a purpose uniquely designed for them by God. In your stillness, you become a vessel for that mission, moving in harmony with His perfect will. This journey is not merely about accomplishing objectives or fulfilling personal aspirations. It's about embodying a sacred calling, one deeply intertwined with the divine will. Just as a rare and valuable gem must be shielded from harm, your divine mission must be carefully guarded against the distractions, doubts, and pressures of the world that aim to pull you away from your path. Your calling is not meant for universal understanding or approval. It is uniquely yours, entrusted to you by the Creator. The more you share your mission with those who are not aligned with its purpose, the greater the risk of distortion and disruption. People may project their own fears or ambitions onto your journey, offering advice or critiques that stray from what God has called you to do. Discernment is essential. Knowing who can uplift your mission and who may unintentionally lead you astray is part of protecting the sacred task entrusted to you. There is profound wisdom in understanding when to draw boundaries, when to step back from unnecessary interactions, and when to focus wholly on the path laid out before you. Your purpose is sacred, and the more you treat it as such, the greater clarity and strength you will receive to see it through. This may mean standing firm in the face of criticism or misunderstanding, trusting that this mission is a divine commission, requiring steadfast devotion and care. The journey toward fulfilling your divine purpose is rarely straightforward. It often includes moments of solitude, times of feeling misunderstood or even isolated. Yet, these experiences are not without purpose. They refine and fortify you for what lies ahead. Protect your mission with every fiber of your being, knowing that even in the silent steps, you are drawing closer to fulfilling your sacred calling. Far too often, we feel compelled to explain or justify our choices, beliefs, and even our existence to others. But as someone chosen for a divine purpose, there is great power in simply knowing and embracing your worth. When you recognize the sacredness of your calling, the need to seek validation from others diminishes. Your worth is not defined by external approval, but is affirmed by the one who called you. Over-explaining or defending your path diminishes the sacred power of your mission. Each time you seek to justify yourself, you open the door for others to question or challenge what God has placed on your heart. Instead, stand firmly rooted in the knowledge that your journey is divinely ordained. Trust that your actions, in their due season, will speak far more eloquently than words ever could. Silence, when rooted in conviction, often carries a far greater impact than explanation. Understanding your worth also means valuing your time and energy as precious resources. You are not obligated to give your light to everyone who seeks it. By discerning when to speak and when to remain silent, you safeguard the energy that fuels your mission. Protecting this energy ensures that it remains available for the purpose to which you have been called. As you honor the worth placed within you by the divine, others will be drawn to the authenticity of your light. Never let the desire for external validation obscure your higher calling. Trust that those who are meant to witness your light will see it, even without your explanation or effort. Stand with unwavering confidence in your mission, knowing that the one who called you sees and knows you fully, and that is enough. Remember, where there is light, shadows will inevitably seek to creep in. Negative energies, whether in the form of toxic influences, spiritual resistance, or internal doubt, may attempt to dim your glow. Yet, as a chosen one, you are a beacon of light. Hold fast to the certainty that your light is divinely empowered, and no shadow can prevail against it when you remain anchored in your purpose and the one who entrusted it to you. However, there is a divine protection available to you that shields your spirit from these forces. It is your right, your responsibility, to call upon this divine protection and to create boundaries that keep you safe. The first step in protecting yourself is to recognize when negative energy is at play. You may feel drained after certain interactions, or perhaps you notice a sense of confusion or heaviness in your heart. Here are the signs that external forces may be influencing you, pulling you away from the path aligned with your divine purpose. These forces often manifest as negative energies that disrupt your spiritual balance. By establishing firm spiritual boundaries, you create a protective shield that blocks these harmful influences, allowing you to remain grounded in your truth. True divine protection is also rooted in discernment. Not every circumstance or relationship is deserving of your time, energy, or attention. Trust the quiet wisdom of your intuition to guide you. When you sense that something or someone is not aligned with your higher calling, honor that instinct and choose to step away. Divine protection is not only about shielding yourself from harm, but also about actively cultivating relationships and environments that uplift your spirit and nurture your soul. The promises of divine guidance and protection are unwavering. They are available to you as you walk in alignment with your purpose. When you place your trust in your inner wisdom, you naturally strengthen the spiritual armor that guards you from negativity and harm. This divine shield is not an external force. It emanates from within, reflecting the presence of God's wisdom and care in your life. Embrace this truth, knowing that you are never walking alone, no matter the trials or distractions around you. In a world often filled with noise, chaos, and the clamor of competing voices, it can be challenging to remember the most dependable source of guidance: your inner voice. This voice is not just a fleeting thought or a random feeling. It is the whisper of divine wisdom speaking directly to your soul. Trusting this voice is one of the most powerful steps you can take on your spiritual journey. As you tune into it more deeply, you will find your path illuminated with greater clarity. This guidance is subtle yet profound. It may come as a sense of calm certainty, a moment of inspiration, or a gentle nudge in the right direction. Whatever form it takes, it is always there, unwavering and accessible. Learning to trust your inner voice may require patience and practice. If you've spent years listening to the world's noise or relying on the opinions of others, this process may feel uncertain at first, but the more you turn inward and seek the voice of God within you, the stronger and clearer this connection will become. Divine wisdom often transcends human logic, and the guidance you receive may not always make immediate sense to your rational mind. Yet, as you continue to trust and follow it, you will find yourself in the right place at the right time, walking in alignment with the divine plan uniquely designed for you. There will be moments in your journey when the path you are called to walk feels contrary to societal norms or expectations. The world often encourages conformity, urging you to follow the crowd and share parts of yourself that may not resonate with your higher purpose. Yet there is a quiet strength in resisting this pressure, in stepping away from the distractions of the masses, and in faithfully following the still, small voice within. This quiet rebellion is not about defiance for its own sake. It is about honoring the truth that God has placed within you, even when the world tells you otherwise. By trusting this divine whisper, you align yourself with God's wisdom, remain centered in your mission, and discover the peace and fulfillment that comes from living in harmony with your purpose. Resisting the pull of the crowd requires immense courage, especially when it seems like others are being celebrated for oversharing or conforming to fleeting trends. Yet your journey is not about chasing temporary recognition or applause. It's about pursuing the sacred mission entrusted to you, one that aligns with the will of God. Stepping away from the noise of the world isn't an act of withdrawal, but an intentional choice to focus on what truly holds eternal value. This quiet defiance is a rebellion of the soul, a refusal to seek external validation and a decision to trust in God's plan above the approval of others. In the stillness, you create space for divine wisdom to take root, untainted by the opinions of the world. It is within this silence that your soul's strength is cultivated, a strength you may not have realized was within you. The power of quiet rebellion lies in authenticity. It does not demand attention or resort to force, yet it remains unwavering and resolute. When you resist the pressure to conform and choose, instead to listen to the gentle guidance of the Spirit within, you step into the fullness of your divine calling. This quiet defiance leads to true freedom, lasting peace, and alignment with the unique purpose God has designed for you. In a world overflowing with noise and distractions, spiritual boundaries are not a luxury, but a necessity for preserving your inner peace. As one set apart for a higher purpose, you are called to establish boundaries that protect your soul from the chaos around you. These boundaries are not barriers of isolation, but shields of wisdom that safeguard your spirit, allowing you to remain grounded in God's presence. Setting spiritual boundaries means learning to say no when needed, stepping away from situations that drain your energy, and creating sacred spaces for communion with the divine. These protective measures are essential to maintaining clarity and staying focused on your mission. Without them, the external noise threatens to drown out your connection to God and obscure your sense of purpose. Establishing these boundaries is not about closing yourself off, but about exercising discernment. It's a sign of spiritual maturity and an act of love for God, for your mission, and for the well-being of your soul. In guarding your peace, you allow your life to become a reflection of God's glory and His perfect will for you.